For a long time, there was no political activism in the University of Bar Ilan.
Yes, since the murder of Prime Minister Rabin, since then it was forbidden to hold any activity in Bar Ilan which has any scent of politism. And this year, for the first time, we are encouraging a lot of students to be a part of those organizations, either right or left. We have people from the right and the left, either central or more extremist. We support every activity here. We think that the university should be a place where we can have those kind of discussions, and it's a neutral place where you can also listen and not only talk. And because of that, we think that it's important to do this and to hold this, especially in Bar Ilan University, which doesn't have the left stigma that most of the Israeli academy has.
What is the value of your participation in a debate like this?
I think it is very important for us to speak to the Israeli public directly, to hear from us about our vision, our position, attitude, to settle this conflict.
Before entering the debate here, you decided to hold some sort of a small protest. Why is that?
We decided to protest about the fact that the Students' Union here in Bar Ilan decided to cooperate with an organization named One Voice, bringing Ashraf al-Arjarmi. We want to bring back the discussion of Zionist and Jewish identity and not allow someone like that speaking over here. In his past, he spoke provoking and encouraging abduction of Israeli soldiers. We think this is something that, even under the freedom of speech and human rights and things like that, is not something that should be discussed. We shouldn't host a person like that in a Jewish Zionist academy. Bar Ilan used to have been recognized for these things, for these values, Zionism, Judaism, and we feel that somewhere along the way that it's lost, and we want to bring that back.
I think the Israeli society has to make the decision about its fate. I think the Arabs are irrelevant in this equation, because not many people, if any, today believe that there will be a peace arrangement between the Palestinians and the Israelis. It's just not going to happen. So the big question is, what now? And right now we're in a vacuum. It's time for the national camp, the national right-wing camp, to present an initiative where we step forward, we take the initiative and apply Israeli law on the Israeli parts of Judea and Samaria, the 60% of Judea and Samaria where 100% of the Jews live. It's got to be considered Israel. So it's time to step up to the plate and demand that. Apply Israeli law on Judea and Samaria.
One of the organizations organizing this debate is actually pushing the agenda of the two-state solution. Even Netanyahu, maybe it's some time ago, mentioned this two-state solution.
Look, it's no secret. I mean, I was Netanyahu's chief of staff. I'm profoundly disappointed with Netanyahu regarding his acceptance of a potential Palestinian state west of the Jordan. That would be a disaster. He knows it. I know it. We all know it. He did it under severe pressure coming from President Obama. I think it was a grand mistake. The way to overcome it is not to be silent, but to step up and begin applying Israeli law in Judea and Samaria, in Ma'ale Adumim, in Ariel, in Bikat HaYarden, in the Dead Sea, in all of the Israeli towns and communities in Judea and Samaria. It's time to consider it Israel and apply our law there.
Some would say, look at the event in Bikat HaYarden with the violence between the soldiers and the anarchists, and say there's tension, there must be separation.
That's nonsense. I mean, if there's some violence in Yafo or in Tel Aviv, you're not going to hand over Yafo and Tel Aviv because of some violence. That's a ridiculous assumption. But you know what? There is a lesson to be learned. It ought not have been a soldier there. It should have been a policeman working within the state of Israel, and then none of that would have happened, because soldiers are not trained to fight anarchists, etc. That's the job of the police. The Israeli police should operate there under the Israeli state.